Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of All Things Logistics with me, Jewel Williams, your host. I hope you're having an awesome day and you are gaining lots of success. So, we are back with another episode, and I am going deeper into the drayage business. First, if you're liking my videos, please subscribe, support this channel, share this video with somebody you believe could benefit from it. Turn on your notification bell so you are alerted when I come out with new videos. All right, let's get into this. As the title says, how to research importers to grow your freight drayage business. That's what we're continuing to talk about. We're going to just keep diving into this because drayage has so many moving parts to it, as does the entire freight transportation industry. So I like focusing on this because there is so much that you can build out from this. Plus, many of the containers that enter the system start from the ports. So it's just a great topic to just get into. Now, a couple videos back, I talked about how to build your route. If you haven't seen that video, check it out right here. And I want you to just explore some of that information. I'm going to reiterate it here, but I'm not going to go as deep as I did there. So let's just start this off. Now, trucking, intermodal transportation, it's one big family. As this chart shows, ocean carriers bring the freight in, enters the port. It may enter the intermodal system jumping on the rail, and it may transfer to another rail before it gets to a motor carrier. But there's also the model for this where it goes from the motor carrier to the rail, to another rail, back to a motor carrier. So there's a couple of ways that these models work. So what you're doing is, as the truck driver, owner operator, you're seeking out a way to position yourself either as the first mile, the last mile, or the middle mile. Everything moves by a truck. So you're going to touch it either at the beginning, at the end, or somewhere in the middle as it transitions from the ocean port to the rail to the final destination. So that's our first piece right here. But what I'm wanting to get at with this is help you understand, okay, now you know where you're going to position yourself in this intermodal ring. Now you want to look at the areas such as your zones, your locations. So I talked about this in a previous video. If you haven't seen it, check it out up here, up over there. And what I did in that video is I talked about building your lane locally. Now, as you can see this dot right over here, I'm in Georgia and I service South Carolina. I'll service North Carolina. I'll service Tennessee, Alabama, of course, Georgia, and Florida. Those are my surrounding states. So I'm looking for freight moving from the ports into those zones, helping out the rail in those zones. Okay. So what I did is I wanted to know if there were companies that were some of the top importers, and if there were the top importers, were they in my area? So the other day I showed you a report that showed the top TEUs, okay? So I showed you that. Now I had to do some more research though. So I had to go to Google and type in top 100 importers, because now this information is available through the census reports and things like that. But a lot of times digging into that research is really tough. So you just want to get the meat and potatoes. You don't want to have to dig in through all that stuff, right? So I found a list of the top 100 importers based on their estimated TEUs. That's 20-foot equivalent units, right? So I organized the list by state, as you can see here, then by industry, and then by TEU volume. So at the top of the list, I highlighted the ones that were in my areas. I talked about Georgia, Tennessee, Alabama, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Florida. So I go through the list and I highlight the ones that I want, right? That I want to seek out. So I see here we've got 2 in Alabama. I've got about 4 or 5 here in Florida, another 4 or 5 in Georgia. I have about 3 in North Carolina, South Carolina, about 3, Tennessee, about 4. Okay, that is quite a bit of freight. Now, I know it's just like 1 or 2 here or there, but look at the estimated TEUs coming into Huntsville, Alabama. That's what's going over there. That's 134,458 TEUs. That's a lot of movement. Some of that might go by rail. Some of that might go by motor carrier if the rail has to put other people on here. Again, this is 16,000. If they're sending it down to Florida, there's another 34,000, 122,000. So as you can see, there's a lot that can go on the rail. However, what can you, the owner operator, pick up? Okay? And how can you be a part of that pickup? So that's the first part of this research, is finding the importers and then finding out who's in my zone. Now, I want to ask myself, who should I be going after? I mean, there's a lot of freight here, yet where's my best guess, or my best target to leverage my trucks, making sure I'm staying within my zone and making good money? So I took it a step further and I found the list of the top importers based on the commodity being used, right? So I'm gonna show you this chart, and I pulled this off of the Census Bureau. Now, what this is showing me is they've broken it down even further by which are the top imports. Now, food was on there, but look at over here. I highlighted how it's down about a change of about 15%. I think that's in thousands, 15,000. So even though that's not bad because we got to eat, so we know we've got some food. But think about, if you're moving food, chances are you're going to need a reefer truck. And I talked about equipment, point up to a video here. I talked about equipment and what type of equipment you're going to need. So if you're going to go after food, you may need a reefer trailer, and a reefer trailer is going to cost you a little bit more because you've got to put diesel in the, I think it's the third tank, which goes and feeds the reefer. I looked over here. Look at this. Industrial supplies and materials. That's down about 26,000. I probably wouldn't go in that direction, only because rates are probably going to be really low. If I go into any of these commodities, rates are going to be pretty low. You're talking about your newsprint, your plywood, your finished textiles, which on my previous report, I had some lumber. Here we go, the Home Depot lumber. Let's see, I had food right here, beverages, some more retail lumber from Lowe's. So, I would kind of not go into that area too much because I would be concerned that I would be getting low rates. I would wait on that. Going down a little bit further, oh, look at here. Automotive vehicles, parts and engines has picked up. Look at that. A change of 45. That's a plus. That means that that sector right now is bringing in quite a bit of stuff. So I'm going to really hone in on that. So if I go back over here and looking at, ooh, who's bringing in automotive? Who's bringing automotive? Mercedes Benz. Mercedes Benz has got an automotive. But check this out. We've got a tire imports that are coming in. That's something to look at. Let's see, home appliances, up some more tires going into South Carolina, more automotive going into Tennessee. Now, Tennessee is a huge hub for automotive parts. When I was driving, I used to run a couple of lanes up from Tennessee all the way up to Michigan and back and forth. Okay, so that's a good lane to look into. You've got Franklin, Tennessee. That's about where it's at. So your tires, South Carolina and Nashville. So looking at that and that area, as we can see back over here, that commodity is excuse me, is growing right now. So this is just to give you an idea of where you want to spend your time. Now, if you're moving tires, it's a dry van. And depending on the size, you might even be able to do some flatbed with that. So this is where you want to start thinking about how you're going to service that. What's it going to cost you? And I'm going to continue this in another video. But before I close this out, I just want to show you some more details to support what I talked about the other day. So get over here to the right screen. There we go. Okay. So I talked about this the other day, a report that showed the top ranking 25 ports by TEU, 20-foot equivalents. Now, Savannah showed up, Charleston, Jacksonville, Miami, Alabama, Wilmington. So think about that. These are the top ports, and those commodities we talked about are coming through those ports. So you see how it's all fitting together, the research, how I'm seeing the bubble kind of build up, that I know I'm going to go in the right direction. I'm not guessing anymore about where should I be moving my truck. I'm using data that I've researched and found to build a better business of drayage, and how to get that information to identify my trucks, to identify my lane, to identify my territory that I want to go after. Because when I go into that importer, when I go into that shipper, manufacturer, I've got my plan right here, what I need. Okay, so when we look a little bit further, let me flip over here. There's another piece that I want to show you to kind of help you get the visual of what I'm speaking about. And it belongs to the port. This right here talks about the number of terminals handling container ships with on-dock rail. On-dock rail, okay? So what does that mean? That means that the containers could be going from the ship to the rail and out. So where are those ports? Well, as you can see here, I put some stars. Alabama's got one on-dock rail. Florida. Now, Florida's got Jacksonville, Miami, and Port Everglades. We've got Miami's got 3 container terminals and then 3 on-dock rails. Miami has 1 and 1, but Port Everglades doesn't have any. Opportunity for drayage. Opportunity to help them get it to the rail. Okay, now we look at Georgia, Savannah, they got 2 and 2. North Carolina, Wilmington, 1 and 1. South Carolina, Charleston, they've got 4 terminals, but only 2 on dock rails. Opportunity, opportunity. Okay. So here we see potential opportunity. So now we're building up here on our business. Now we're starting to see where we can fit in. Now we're starting to see where we can, what type of equipment we need, who we need to approach, and how we can build this business. And looking up here at this bubble chart, I want to get to this one because this is our TEU. Here's some more visual. Look at what we're looking at here. This is golden. Okay, this is golden because I'm focused. This is my zone. I'm focused over here on Savannah, Wilmington, North Carolina, Charleston, Jacksonville. But check out Jacksonville. What do we see? That blue? Look at all that blue. That means it's domestic. So that is not my import zone. That's my domestic zone. If I want the imports, I'm coming up here, but I'm probably not going to be bothered with Jacksonville. I'm probably going to seek out Port Everglades. Why? Because they don't have up on rail a rail terminal or a rail piece connected to their terminal. Okay, so that's my opportunity. I want to explore that. So we've looked at research. We have found the top 100 importers. We have identified and connected them to the top 25 ports. We have identified the ports that are in my zone. I've got what, 5, 6 ports that are in my zone that I want to service, to choose from. I've identified commodities that are moving higher than other ones, so I know where to spend my time building and seeking out my importers. So I've got all the facts together. Now I got that final piece, and that final piece is the money part. And when I say the money part, I'm talking about the money of operations. What's it going to cost me to be that drayage service provider to those ports? If I got 1 truck, how many of those am I going to service? If I got 2 trucks, how many of those am I going to service? What's my cost per truck? How many miles can I get? Okay. How can I run this? Now, one final element to this that I think that will kind of just give you this one piece. It's in with the intermodal, and it has to do with the rail being the rail traffic. Let me see what page that was. That was, all right, let me get onto that page. Here we go. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger so you, well, I'll show you to you first and I'll make it bigger. Okay, here we go. The rail yards. Now, I highlighted the rail that's in my area, Eastern US. That's me. It's the NS and CSX. Okay, those are my rails. So as you can see here, this graph to the right of this kind of gives me an idea in color zone. So I'm going to make this a little bit bigger so you can see it. Kind of pull this over so you can see what I'm looking at. Okay, now look at this. So I know or know my areas over here. I know it's kind of crowded, but I'm looking at CSXT. That's what that yellow line you see in here. And NS is down here. It's like that dark blue, almost black line right in here. So you can see how that rail is running through my zone. However, everything can't fit on there because that rail is servicing several ports. It's not just servicing my ports. So as they go through and collect, look at where it's going up and through. Look at where it's servicing. But I want to get a piece of that. So now I kind of have an idea of a couple of options that I can either pick up at the port and take it to the rail if they don't have a rail yard. I can pick up from the rail and take it to the warehouse for a final destination. I can pick up at the port and take it to the warehouse for the final destination. I got options. I got options, and I know that freight is running through my zone based on the top 100 importers in my area. So I hope this video was helpful to you. I know it was a lot. Digest it, rewind it, play it again, because this right here is how you're going to grow your business. This is how you're going to dig in with research. Save yourself some time and stop shooting darts in the dark. Understand what your area is, get the facts. It's out there on the web. If you want me to help you, okay, shoot me some questions down here. I would love to get your feedback on this information to just help you grow your business every way I can. All right. I will catch you in the next video. Thank you for watching and have an awesome day.